Now, an official with the Chinese embassy in Kenya and CGTN's chief anchor Beatrice Marshall joined a panel discussion on Switch TV's new talk show called The Tipping Point. The discussion was focused on the partial resumption of flights to and from Kenya by China Southern Airlines. Councillor Wang Xuezheng reassured the Kenyan public that the Chinese government has taken every measure to prevent COVID-19 from spreading to Kenya.
Actually, the China embassy in Kenya actually attached reporting to the control and prevention of the virus. So as for the question, actually all the passenger, the Chinese passenger coming on the plane from China has gone through many steps of the check before they arrived here in Kenya. For example, when they leave their living community, they have the temperature check. As we know, I'm not an expert, but I know the two main symptoms of this infection. One is high temperature. The second is the cough. Cough you can watch, right? You can notice. But for temperature, is the main measure to check. So first, when they leave their living community, they get the temperature check, and then they take the public transport between cities. They have another step to check. I mean the temperature check, and then when they arrived at the airport, the departure hall, again the temperature check, and before departure, before boarding, once again, and also on the plane, as we required. Actually, it had been always happening. The plane had been equipped with the medical supplies and sanitizing supplies all the way. And when they arrived here in Kenya, as far as I know, so 3 steps of the temperature check will be done for the passengers. We are keeping very close contact with the Kenya government, especially the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Well, for example, just now we talked about the passengers, the plane of the passenger. Actually, for your government, your immigration knows all the list of the passengers, and also we have the list of China national non-citizen plane. But under the premise of protection of the privacy, we because we have the direct contact with the with the China International here, we exchange information. If if there are any cases or suspicious cases reported.
Nick and Tamima, first of all, last time I was here, I was speaking to my civic duty, and I was quite radical. You know, I'm a radical left politician. And at the same time, I was criticizing the Chinese government and in the lifestyle and other stuff, but I was also sympathetic last time with the Chinese people. You remember when Kenya is part of the global order, we are part of the global community. We've called the community of nations, and therefore we should be naturally sympathetic to the Chinese for the epidemic that is happening in their country. Secondly, since we adopted the policy of look east, as Beatrice has said, the trade between Kenya and China is increasing compared to any other country in the world. Therefore, we cannot avoid movement of people and goods from China to Kenya and vice versa. Therefore, it is something that when you are asking the question about self-quarantining for the people who came in Kenya, it is a question that is speaking to the fears among Kenyans that if somebody who is tested positive comes in, and then this person, maybe by accident, of course, the disease is spreading at a very fast rate. Then it infects and it spreads. What is the state of preparedness of the country to handle such cases of emergency? And it's something that we discussed at length last time when we had this discussion. So I think basically it is an issue that is speaking to the fear among Kenyans and whether the government is prepared. But I like the fact that he has mentioned about the issues of the test and the various issues that are being, the procedures before boarding, something that is very important. I want to emphasize that the government should be able to come up with its own screening at the points of entry, the ports of entry, across the country, especially through the main airport in JKIA. That is the only way. But the issue of self-quarantining cannot work best before the government itself puts the screening mechanism at the points of entry.
Okay.
In fact, if we had capacity, the Kenyan government should have sent the expertise. It's only that we don't have those kind of expertise because this is a new disease that has come out.
All right.
Just like Ebola, we should have even sent expertise to go and assist the Chinese. I think it's something that we need to ponder.
The information is out there. We have information from the World Health Organization. We have information from Chinese authorities who issue daily pressers, who issue daily updates. Today we were told about the number of people in total who have been infected. We are seeing a total openness, right? But it is the age of social media, you know, and so in this age of social media, sometimes by the time a story gets to a certain level, it has completely metamorphosized and changed. So we want to use data to open minds. So let's use data to open minds here. Now, globalization. We start with globalization. Globalization is a phenomenon now. You know, there's a lot of movement from here to China, from China to Africa. The African Union itself estimates that there are 600% flight increases over the last 10 years as a result of the trade that Africa does with China. So the world is moving, the globe is moving, trade has to continue, people have to move. You're asking, was this a right move by China? Absolutely. The World Health Organization itself, and it is both China and Kenya, the World Health Organization itself has said that there is no need for restriction of flights. Think about it. It is not time for isolation. It is time for solidarity. If we are all, as a global audience, if we are to kick the epidemic, we must stand together in solidarity, not isolating, not saying we cannot go there or they cannot come here. And I'll pose this question to you as well. How would you feel about the Africans who are constantly locked out of Europe and, you know, have to go through the Mediterranean Sea to reach the other end? Thousands are dying each year as a result. So I say it is time for solidarity. It is not time for isolation.